Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to the Masters League. Of course, it is TTML. We are here for TTML F2. It is Season 7, Round number 7 of the Championship, as we've taken the Australian Grand Prix from down under here at the Melbourne Park Circuit, of course, otherwise known as Albert Park. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream, as always, on a Thursday night. And joining me in the comment box, Lord Behold, he is back. Good evening, IRKT Storm. Storm, how you doing?
Well, I'm feeling a little bit more better than I was last week. God, I couldn't even hardly talk with that the sore throat. But yeah, no, well rested and back ready for some racing here in Australia.
That is very good indeed to hear. Obviously, it is round 7 tonight in Australia, and hopefully it's going to be a really good race. I was concerned for a minute there because it was coming up with Audible adverts, and I didn't want that on the stream, so I thought we were just speaking over Audible adverts there. You've just seen, on my end, certainly, you've seen the Star Wars and everything that's been broadcasted anyways, so there we are. Anyways, coming into tonight, obviously, we are, by the way, one follower away from 100 subscribers, actually, on Twitch. If you do want to be that 100th person to start off the stream, you can do. But I need to get up everything in terms of the standings, which will absolutely help. Of course, last week, of course, in Belgium, sprint race and feature race. Sprint race first, Bas Bremer, Simply Superman, Nathan Clark first, second and third. Jana took the win in the feature race. Nathan Clark was second and Jorgen third. Nathan Clark actually had a really good weekend in the Haas, and obviously in terms of the championship he is pretty much up there in the standings. It is Jona though that leads the way on 115 points, Simply Superman in second on 103, Armadi is in third on 78 points, Nick Houston fourth on 68, Jonas in fifth on 66, Matt Tibbos in sixth on 64, Noisy as well on sixth on 64, then Spray in eighth on 62, Tom in ninth on 61, and Jorgen Nathan Clark round off the top 10 on 51 points. Then we've got Husby, Neymar, Slash and Ray round off the top 15, Frankie Ramazan, Breaker Fenyana and DJ Giller, the top 20 drivers of course that have scored points this season. And Storm, obviously Belgium aside, both sprint race and feature race completely done. We're now in the land of Down Under. Jona takes a 12-point advantage coming in tonight. Wasn't the best weekend from last week. What can Jona do to come back here tonight with obviously the top two contenders here?
Yeah, I think with this type of track, obviously, you know, we all know the chicane of death, which, you know, you can easily spin. So I think he's going to have to be cautious there. But no, I think this type of track, you need, you know, that kind of setup that will, you know, help you through a lot of the corners. It is quite a few corners, and especially that last corner, the sharp left-hander can be quite tricky. You can go on the grass. But yeah, it's going to be hopefully an enjoyable night and a very exciting night of racing.
Definitely so. Of course, we are at the old Albert Park Circuit, not the new one that we're going to be seeing, of course, in real life in the coming days, of course, for the Australian Grand Prix weekend in real life. But here at the Albert Park Circuit, of course, it is 5.3 kilometres and then 3.2 mile. This is the old variation, of course, of the circuit. 3 DRS zones, not the 4 that we're going to be getting in real life, of course, on Sunday. Of course, one down the start finish straight, one down in towards turn 3 at Whiteford Corner, and then one down in towards turn number 12 at Ascari. And obviously, Storm, looking at this track in question, one thing that really strikes me every single time I come here is the curb, especially coming through turns 11 and 12. That little chicane really catches drivers out.
Yeah, I think with the corners that you mentioned, I think if you get the entry wrong, your exit is going to set you up to not just potentially spin on that curb on the left, but yeah, I think you've got to get good entry to get a good exit through there. And yeah, as you mentioned, the Australian Grand Prix coming up in a few days, I just feel so sorry for us Brits that have to be up at 5 and 6 a.m. in the morning.
I know, what the absolute liberties of living on the other side of the world, unfortunately, I think, with that. Jana, though, is the first man out on track. He's coming through turn number 1 and then, of course, through turn number 2. Where, of course, Bottas famously spun it and crashed into the wall in 2019. The last time, of course, we came here in real life, of course. Aston Martin, by the way, leading the championship standings in terms of the constructors on 167 points. Haas in second on 165. Mercedes in third on 148. Red Bull in fourth on 138. Alfa Romeo in fifth on 130. Then Williams in sixth on 114. Alpine in seventh on 109. AlphaTauri in eighth on 61. McLaren in ninth on 55. And Ferrari in 10th on 0 points, and that is because Simply Superman has, of course, moved to the Aston Martin. As per last week, he's joined Yona now in that team. No Ferrari drivers, of course, currently within the standings either, so that's why they've got 0 points coming into tonight. But Yana, first man out on track, had a very, very good race weekend, of course. He got awarded the feature race win by landing himself just on the podium. Yona picked up a 10-second penalty as a result, with I think 5 of them being the footage not being provided. But Yana took that feature race win. What can he do here tonight to obviously carry on his really good form?
Yeah, I think for Yona last week, he just needs to forget about any penalties that he received or anything. He can just maybe write Belgium off. It might have not been a track that he felt comfortable with, or what, for whatever reason. He needs to get back into the zone. He needs to get back focused. You know, obviously Australia being the old track, he needs to get into the mindset of, this is a new week, it's a different track. I know what I got to do to keep whatever championship battle alive, whatever championship rival he wants to, you know, try and battle at this type of stage in the season.
Yeah, Yana and Yona, I think, is probably the same person, as we mentioned there. It was Yana, of course, that took the feature race win, not Yona. Easily to get confused. Yana, though, the man, the Finn, is actually on a lap. He's coming through turns 9 and 10. Through the first sector, he looked very shaky, I've got to be honest. And even coming through the chicane there of 9 and 10, he's looking very shaky on this lap. It's obviously an insight run here for Yana. 48.7 through the middle sector. We should be seeing 47s, I think, through the middle sector there. Flies through turns 11 and 12. Then up towards the Scary corner, of course, at turn number 13, and this is where we get into the real old part of the circuit that hasn't really changed that much, especially the final couple of corners. Yana now coming through turn 14, which of course is the new turn 11, I believe, in real life. Then through the left-hander of turn 15, and then into the right-hander of turn 16. Yana coming around the final corner. I think we're going to see a 121 possibly to start off the night. Yana on the run to the line, and I may as well become a betting man. 121.2 for Yana to start off the night in terms of his lap.
Yeah, and apologies there for getting the drivers muddled up there. But yeah, no, I think Jan, he's had a good season from what obviously I've seen. I don't know if he raced in China. I can't remember, because I think that was a lot. I was here for China and then I missed Belgium. So yeah, I think he's got a lot to show. This evening, if he really wants to take this championship fight that he obviously has, as Nick goes up into provisional pole with a 21.1, just roughly around about 1/10 behind Jan, as Jonah goes and does even quicker with a 21.0. So yeah, I think we will be in the 21s. Can anybody go into maybe a high 20? It could be possible. Everybody is on the softs except from Nathan. Maybe that's a bold move to go for the mediums.
I think it is, to be honest. Obviously, medium compound tyres might be the tyre to be on. Matt Tibos comes to the line. He goes 5th, 21.3. And, yeah, interesting, Nathan Clark obviously has gone for that set of medium compound tyres. He's there in the Haas. He's just started up his lap, actually. Of course, a really good week in terms of what he's actually been doing so far this season. He's there, obviously, not set a lap time just yet. But the top 7 that have are separated by 5.5 tenths per second. So Jonas there out on top. Looking like the owner of old, I've got to say. Nick Houston there in second. Jorg, I believe, has just gone 3rd, so good lap there by Jorg. He goes 21.2 on that set of soft compound tyres, as Bray now goes actually 3rd with a 21.2, and already we've got 2 thousandths of a second covering 3rd and 4th. But what I was about to say there is the whole field now, the top 9 covered by 5.5 tenths of a second. Yona the out on top, Dig Easton second, Bray in 3rd, but I wouldn't be worried about the lap times at this point. The track's obviously going to evolve as the session goes on, so we should see 20s come and fall, I think. And if I was a betting man, I'd say 20.4 for Paul.
Well, hopefully James isn't in the betting business, because that might not be his good night. But we'll give him that one.
It's the Grand National coming up on Saturday, so I have to be a betting man. Nathan Clark, by the way, is coming through the final corner. We'll see what he's going to do. He's going to be the slowest lap time out of everyone. But 22.3, not a bad lap actually on a set of medium compound tyres. Should have been looking for pretty much a very high 22 or high 21, low 22, I think, in terms of his medium run. But what we see around this lap though is drivers obviously improved from a set of mediums to a set of softs, and it's around a second to 1.2 seconds drivers can tend to improve, maybe even more than that. So Nathan Clark, I've got no worries he's going to be up towards the top end of the field come the end of qualifying.
Yeah, and I think with this track you can go a little bit more full throttle, not as such as with obviously Belgium, as also Belgium has had some changes, as we were talking this week about the whole no-name kind of situation, which is obviously, I guess, for different types of cars, obviously not just F1. But yeah, it's a welcome change that maybe some of these tracks are getting updated.
Yeah, it's a really welcome change. Obviously, in terms of Belgium, I believe they've added obviously the Joker lap section, like the penalty loop. Basically, it's not really a penalty loop to be honest. Coming through no name, if that is going to be the location of that penalty loop. But obviously, they're going to be hosting MotoGP, I think, later on in the season. In fact, I think in a couple of months' time. Then obviously they've got the 24-hour Spa coming up towards the end of the year. I think it's in August, September time, and that'll be a real focus, I think, obviously for drivers going off there, and obviously different points of the circuit creates different things. Track layout around here though, Australia, is unchanged on this game. Obviously, hopefully Codemasters get the backsides in gear and hopefully deliver some content before the end of the game cycle with regards to that. Yana, who was just running aboard with the lap, is just invalidated through turn number 1. So, I'm trying to see who's next on a lap. Is it Ray, perhaps? I think it might be Ray coming around the final corner.
Yeah, and I think also maybe we might get a driver that feels like a Bottas is into the to whom it may concern. I won't finish that sentence because it may contain some offensive language. But yeah, I just wonder, obviously, Jan being from Finland, maybe he might find his inner Valtteri Bottas, and we may be hearing a to whom it may concern at the end of the race.
Could do. I mean, he had a really good race, obviously, last week in the feature race. It was quite fortunate, I've got to say. Ray coming through the first sector, though, 26.9 on this set of soft compounded tyre. We should see him get a lap in. Chonet is also out there, just starting up on a lap as well. Yona, by the way, has warned me in the Discord that we've got rain 45 minutes into the race. 45 minutes around here. It's right at the end of the race. I can't really see that happening unless it's around lap 18, 19 is where I might be thinking. Ray coming through the middle sector though. We'll talk about the rain in a second, but Ray's coming through the middle sector, now into the final sector. Looking quite quick as well. The FNR man, of course, is on fire at this moment in time. Obviously going to try and get a really good lap time here. Comes through turn 14 and then into the left-hander of 15 and 16. It's another driver actually that I've spotted going for a low fuel run as well. And with halfway gone through qualifying, Yona, Nick Houston, Bray coming in the top 3. Ray though is going to put it up there, I think. Ray on the run to the line goes 8th. Not a bad lap, and considering he did that lap and he's only 3/10 off Yona, that's not a bad lap at all.
No, I think with this type of track as well, you kind of maybe need to reduce the fuel a little bit more. As looking by James' expression there, Nick has gone in with a 20.9 up there, and Neymar, obviously, not just a friend. Obviously, I've had him as a teammate before in other leagues. He is back on form, I think, this evening, and maybe Australia is his track. And he sits it up into P2.
He does indeed. Neymar 20.9. Yona's on a lap though, middle sector, 700s up, so he's looking quite good. Just catching the curb through 11 through 12. That is picture perfect. Coming through turn number 12 there from Yona. And I'm immediately going to say this is going to be pole position here tonight, I think. If he really finds a good final sector, which I think he lacked on his first lap, he should be class apart, probably 2-3 tenths per second in judgment of his pace so far this season, as Yana now goes quick as 20.9 on a multiple run set of soft compounded tyre, so he did 2 runs on that tyre. Yona though, on the run to the line, 20.6. That's what I said about finding 3/10 of a second. Yona in qualifying, sorry to say guys, he's just a class apart, and Yona out on top by 3/10 of a second, and that lap time, judging by how close the field are in behind, that's going to be very difficult to beat.
Yeah, and I just want to throw this a question. If Nick is watching, make sure you got enough fuel this time, because in China, you were on for a podium, I think, or a win, and you fell a bit short. So hopefully he's got enough fuel in the car, should I say, for tonight's race, and hopefully he doesn't fall short.
Nathan Clark, by the way, saying in the comment section, which we've already touched on, the heads-up weather is going to be interesting in the race. What is interesting, though, Simply Superman on a lap. He is coming through turn number 12. He's only 500s up, actually, on this lap. And considering Simply Superman has been up there in terms of qualifying so far this season, 21.247, 400s off Bray, 400s off Matt Tibos as well. He's there or thereabouts in terms of his qualifying pace. Why isn't he not higher? We'll see what he's going to do around the final corner. And he's already a good few tenths per second behind Yona, just out of the final corner alone. And he only goes 6th, 20.9. It's a good lap. I'm not criticising his lap at all. But given how close the field is, I mean, Yana to DJ Gill are separated by less than a tenth of a second. That's, what, 5 drivers in, 5 positions. It's going to be so difficult to try and find an improvement, and Simply Superman, one driver that's normally quite quick in qualifying, I've got to say he's underwhelming so far.
Yeah, I think maybe this type of track, it's not really a driver's favourite qualifying, but they may prefer it better as the race, and there is some drivers out there that maybe they are better in the race, they have better race pace, and I find with drivers like Neymar, Jonah, and also a few others as well, their qualifying might not be as good, but their race pace is absolutely incredible. Like Nathan Clark as well, and Noisy. Like their qualifying might not be as good, but their race pace is up there, and I think they may find themselves, if they can get it right, we could be seeing them on the podium.
Could be seen on the podium. This man here as well that I'm on board with, Nathan Clark, has just flew through turn number 12 as if it was his life depended on it. Really quick through there. He is looking 6/10 up currently on his lap. Ray, by the way, went second as well while you were speaking. 20.7 on that set of soft compound tyres. Nathan Clark, though, looking to try and improve. Just gets a little bit sideways, actually, into the exit of 15 and then to the right-hander of 16. He's there or thereabouts. I think he's going to go ahead of Jorg, possibly, on the run to the line. We'll see what Nathan Clark will do. And he goes actually just behind Yana, so 20.948, but that now puts 6 drivers within a tenth of a second of each other. Yana all the way to DJ Gill, only separated by a hair's breadth. It is so close in qualifying, and I'm actually shocked because normally I commentate on, as Nick Houston nearly goes for a spin on his outlap. Goodness me, well recovered, my friend. He just about kept the car going, but what I was going to say there is, obviously Nathan Clark's went 5th. I normally commentate around here, and I've got to be honest, we don't see a close qualifying as what we've seen tonight so far.
No, and I think that's what the great thing about this grid is. It is so close every week. You know, you mentioned, I think, last season when you was with Pepsi Freak, you know, maybe this was the season for Jonah, you know, maybe to kind of get that, you know, that championship win. But it's proven difficult, you know. Not every week he's been up there. And, you know, he hasn't always had the best race. We saw in China. He left it till the last minute. He gambled on, you know, different situations. And sometimes it doesn't pay off. But hopefully tonight, with his pole position of a 20.6 at the moment, that can all still change as a few drivers are still out, the 2 Haas drivers. Yeah, so he's got to make these races count now. You know, if he wants to win this championship, or even get close to winning it.
Yeah, definitely so. Yona obviously is leading the championship coming into tonight. Only 12 points clear of Simply Superman. But you can argue both Aston Martins in the minute, 1st and 8th, they're separated by nearly 4/10 per second. And Yona is so much quicker in qualifying, as is this man here. Probably the most improved driver in qualifying so far this season, Nick Houston. And he's 600s up coming through the middle sector. Catches turn 11, catches turn 12. How on earth that wasn't invalid, I do not know. Coming through turn 12, now in towards Ascari at turn number 13. How he's kept that going is absolutely beyond belief. The Dutchman now coming through turn 14, and then in towards turn 15. He's really hooking up this final sector as well. This could be quite quick from Nick Houston. Remember, 600th of a second will get him ahead of Yana at this point. Around the final corner, I think he might be even ahead of Jorg here. Nick around the final corner, on the run to the line. He goes second. 20.6, really found a good final sector, and from that little twitch on that curve coming through turn 11, I do not know how he didn't pick up an invalidation, and he's gone second as a result, and that's why you've got to have balls of steel around this track.
Yeah, and I think later in after the race he'll be saying, "Oh, I was meant to do that." Yeah, But no, it's also great to see maybe a rival battle come back from China, because we saw Jonah and Nick battle in China in them last few laps when obviously Nick fell short on the fuel. But yeah, no, it's great to see that the not just the pole sitter, but the drivers behind are not the same every week, because XL Bree is up there. You've still got Jorg that can cause a potential threat to the podium, as Jan has obviously retired, as the session is coming to an end. But yeah, I wouldn't put my money on just Jonah winning this, because anybody can win this race. That's how close this grid is this season.
Anybody can win this race, but I don't think anybody can win qualifying, because Jonas now ran the final couple of corners through turn number 12, and he's nearly 2/10 up through the middle sector. It is looking good for my prediction for 20.4. Let's just hope he messes this up slightly through the final sector, coming through turn 14, as now the Aston Martin comes through, then through the left-hander of turn 15, and then into the final corner, of course, at Prost at turn 16, ran the final corner. Jonas on fire. He's flying on this lap. Jonas ran the final corner. Simply Superman disqualified. It's a 20.3 from Jona, even quicker than what my prediction was. Jona goes quickest, 0.3 per second ahead of Nick Houston. He's not improving. Jorg is improving through the first sector. Bray isn't. I think he's just started up on a lap. Just trying to see. Neymar is improving, 48.5 through the middle sector. He comes to the line. He goes third, and only 1,000th clear of Bray in the end. It's a good lap time by the Alpine there. Jorg, though, is my main focus of attention at the minute. He's coming through the middle sector. We'll obviously get improvements, I think, from the rest, as now Jorg is actually purple in the middle sector. This could be a really good lap, and he's got Noisy to give him tow as well. Coming up towards turn 13 at Ascari. It's very limited tow off, I've got to be honest, from Noisy's perspective. But Jorg coming through turn 13. That might have just helped him try and win back some of that time. He's got to find 0.5 of a second on Jona, and I don't think that's going to be coming until God's given Christmases. Jorg coming through turn 15, and then into the right-hander of turn 16. I think he might go second with this lap, though. Jorg around the final corner, on the run to the line now, and he does go second. 20.5. It was bit of wishful thinking, I think, to even think he was going to improve 0.5 per second. He improved 0.3. Good lap time by Jorg. Jona, though, I believe, is out on top. Bray, however, might have something to say about that, because he's a 10.5 up in the middle sector. Jonas, I believe, is just backed off a lap as well further down. Nathan Clark, I believe, is behind Bray on a lap, so we'll see what Bray can do. Round the final corner, the Maltese man, the XL man, now on the run to the line here in Australia, and he goes fourth, and he's only 0.6 of a second behind Nick Houston. Nathan Clark, does he respond? Yes, goes sixth. Good lap time from him. Jonas is back into the pits. That is the end of qualifying, and there's Jona, that man there, 20.3. Jorg got a 20.5, and Nick Houston a 20.6. Jona, once again, as I said earlier on in the qualifying session, a class above the rest.
Yeah, it is a fantastic lap from the Dutchman. I hope he's Dutch.
He is.
Yeah, just needed James to clarify that. Yeah, but wow, what a lap from Jona, proving that he has the pace in qualifying, but can he produce it in the race? Get your beverages, get your snacks, because we are going to be in for an epic Australian Grand Prix as we go down under in Australia for TTML Formula 2 for round number 7. And I'll hand you over to James for the qualifying results.
Yeah, we've got 13 men at work, but at least we are down under. Probably the best pun of the season, that. It's Jona out on top. It is a Dutch 1-2-3, by the way, in terms of qualifying. Jona out on top, Jorgen second, 0.2 clear of his nearest rival, obviously, from last season. Nick Houston there in third, Bray in fourth, Neymar in fifth, Nathan Clark in sixth. Again, another one slightly underwhelming, I've got to be honest, in qualifying. Jana there in seventh, DJ Gill in eighth, Matt Tibos in ninth, Jonas in 10th, Ray Meader in 11th, Noisy in 12th, and Simply Superman rounding off the top 13 drivers. Only 13 drivers, which I think for F2 standards is a real shame. And to anybody that has missed this race, I'm not sure what your excuse is that you've missed this race, but we need attendances to improve, of course, after the break week in 2 weeks' time, or I believe it is Saudi. No, we've already had Saudi Arabia. It's some track, yeah, it's some track in the future after the break week. But really poor attendances. Hopefully that's not obviously transpiring in F3 and F4 and in F1 this week as well. But as drivers, you signed up to do every single race, so we expect respect and we expect you to attend every single race. And if you can't, give a really good excuse, and not saying like, oh yeah, there's a football match on, because that doesn't suffice as an excuse. So, 13 drivers here tonight. I expect that to improve probably to full grid by the end of the break week.
Yeah, obviously, I think F4 is struggling a little bit with attendance this week. That may be because good old Jamie, the admin there, is trying his hardest to get them numbers up, but I think they're still at 12, maybe they may be pushing to 14, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think, you know, TTML is such a great league. You know, we were obviously 5 divisions last season. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it 5 this season. But yeah, and obviously with the whole current Codemasters situation with this game, I think we would need a podcast for that length of discussion, James. You know, our support does obviously go out to, you know, all the PC leagues that are having all these desync issues, because it is an absolute nightmare. I know, you know, we haven't had any on PlayStation really as such, but yeah, I can imagine it can be a nightmare for admins or anybody who is in the PC community for F1.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments, because obviously we've seen the new patch update. Especially on PC, you have to feel sorry for all of those drivers, the likes of Duncan Houghton, the likes of Jordan Nordijk as well, who was obviously transitioned from PlayStation, basically in PSGL, all the way to PC, and then to end up with a game that doesn't work. I mean, there's got to be a two-way street somewhere. You've just got to find the real premise, I think, to obviously work on a two-way street, and hopefully Codemasters realises that and listens to the 90% of their community that actually plays multiplayer, instead of caring about possibly putting in supercars for the new game. And I'm not going to get into that discussion because we have on the formation map here in F2. Jonrad on top, Jorgen second, Nick Houston third. So we can run through the strategies. Top 10 have qualified on that soft compound attire. Rainmeter and Noisy, mediums. Simply Superman hards.
Yeah, a bit of a bold one there. I think he knows the rain's coming later on in the race. But yeah, no. I can't remember if this is a 1-stop or a 2-stop. I haven't raced it here for ages. But yeah, as the drivers are going to be getting into their 13 grid slots for what will be truly 29 laps, hopefully, of fantastic racing. It may be a smaller grid, it may be low attendance, but we know these drivers can provide the racing. I'll hand you over to James for what will be lights out here in F2 for the Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah, totally echo those sentiments. Obviously, quality is better than quantity, and hopefully the quality of racing will outdo the quantity of the drivers here tonight. But as Jonrad on top, Jorg alongside him, there is Jonas run down and towards turn 1 to around 300 metres to run down and towards turn 1. There is Jorg's view, and we're about to get going for 5 red lights, of course, here in Australia. It is round 7 of the championship in season 7, and it's lights out, and away we go. Jona has got alongside, though, on the run down and towards turn 1. Jorg tries to get across him, but Jona leads the way in towards turn 1. Jorgen second, Nick Houston third, Nathan Clocker, Bray having a good battle coming through the right-hander of turn number 2, and now Nathan Clocker, Bray still side by side on the run down and toward Whiteford corner. This is for P4. The Haas man just about holds on. Really good racing in behind as well. Jonas and Yana going side by side. Trotters gets the move done, and he's into 7th. Yana gets forced out. Now DJ Gill tries to go all the way around the outside through turn number 5, and that's a brilliant move from DJ Gill. And there goes Matt Tibos through as well. I wonder if Yana's got a little bit of damage off. He's just really slow on those set of soft compound tyres. Ray and Noisy haven't made up any positions off the start either. Simply Superman has got lost in the wash basically of the start, but Jona leads the way. Jorgen second, unchanged in front, and Jona initially got a really good getaway. That's what sealed it down in towards turn number 1. No Ralph Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello incident from 2002 around here, but it's Jona that leads the way. Jorgen second, Nick Houston third, and by F2 standards that was a very clean start.
Yeah. Oh, my voice nearly went there. Yeah, no, fantastic start there. I'm just looking at Jan's car. Obviously, we don't know if he's got any side pod damage or rear wing damage, but from the wing, the front wing, should I say, it's looking all fine. I think he just got a really bad lap 1, but hopefully he can push on and get his way up that grid. As Jona sets the fastest lap here on lap 1 with a 28.4, but that lap will, I suspect, get quicker. As Simply Superman on the hards hasn't really made any moves at the moment.
Jorg was very, very lucky coming out of turn number 2. I'm not sure if you caught that either, but Jorg got caught on the outside curb. Coming out of turn 2, he had a real snap of oversteer. He lost a tenth of a second as a result. It looked like for one moment it was going to go into a half spin, but luckily he didn't. Jorg stays in second. Before that, though, he was pressurising Jona, and Jona's 6/10 clear. Clearly he's got a better first sector than Jorg. Jorg now through the middle sector is just being left behind slightly, and Nick Houston in third. Everyone's just filtering through nicely. I will say already, second half is going to be better than the first half. Jonas is in the wall as TJ Gill goes past him. Jonas into the wall. I'm not sure if he's picked up any front wing damage, but that was a snap of oversteer coming off the curb at turn number 10, the left-hander, and Jonas is one very lucky man. I think he's got away with damage, but again, snap of oversteer and DJ Gill's in the wall. DJ Gill is in the wall. That might be the first safety car of the night. I wonder if it will be. Jonas has been overtaken by Matt Tibos and actually forced it down the inside line, the Williams, but the Alpine gets the move done. So Matt Tibos Looney's into 7, Jonas into 8, DJ Gill I think got caught on the outside curb through turn number 12, and that is why he is in the wall and out of the race, and I don't think we're going to get a safety car for that either, even though it was very hard impact into the wall. Jona leads the way though, 5/10 of a second. Big old DRS train beginning to develop though from Matt Tibos downwards. Jonas and Yana are trying to follow through, possibly in toward Whiteford corner for a move in towards turn number 2. Jonas has definitely got damage, I think. He went so far wide out of turn number 1, and now Yana is right on the back of him. The Finn against the Norwegian on the run down toward Whiteford corner, and Jonas holds on to position, and I may as well not commentate on that because nothing ever happened in that.
Yeah, looks like it was a battle of the Scandinavians there, the Finland and the Norwegian. As we've got a bit of a battle here between the Dutch, as there's the 3 Dutch drivers in the top 3 spots, and that is obviously Jona, Jorg, and Nick as they come through. I believe this is on their way to, I'm trying to remember the count thing now, turn 13. Hopefully as Jorg got a little bit of the exit curb going into that corner there, as they all get DRS, and yeah, as you said, DRS train is forming. As Jorg got a little bit of snap of understeer. I just wonder if his tyres may be overcooking.
Possibly overheating is a problem around this circuit, and I commentated not so long back actually around Australia. I think it was 2 weeks ago, possibly for another league. And overheating was a big problem around this track, and it's especially the rears rather than the actual front tyres that really take the hit. Yana, by the way, is on the back of Jonas once again in towards turn number 1 at Whiteford corner, but I don't think he's going to get the move done more immediately, I think, though. As Jonas has spun on the inside curb through turn number 2, faces the wrong way. He's very lucky actually to keep that car relatively in a straight line. Ray's now on the back of Yana as a result. Doesn't get the move done in towards turn 3. But Jonas caught the curb through turn number 2. It's the AstroTurf actually through turn number 2, and it sent the car completely spinning. He took too much of the curb, and that is why he's ran down in P12. And Jonas hasn't been the great season. Nearly goes for another spin coming through Whiteford corner at turn 3. But Jonas now, he needs a safety car ideally to get back into it.
Yeah, and I think as well, I think Superman might have just picked the wrong strategy here. I know in case, he's probably going the long distance, but yeah, I think maybe it might have been a softer or medium he should have gone for. But they're the drivers, we're the commentators, they know what they're doing, because that's why they're here in F2. They are some of the best drivers on PlayStation, and yeah, it's very difficult for Jorg to kind of close that gap. It's kind of like the Mercedes of last season trying to follow a car behind. He just can't get close enough to Jona down the straights. He gets him nearly in the corners, as they are going to get DRS, as Jona won't, but Jorg will, as I don't think, nope, he's not going to get the move. But Nick is just slowly creeping up. He's slowly reeling in Jorg for that second place.
Yeah, he is indeed. The top 5 have now pulled away from Neymar, who seems to be struggling as well on those tyres. He's lost around a second, just that last lap alone, so Neymar's struggling. Yana, by the way, got the move done on Matt Tibos in towards turn number 1. It was on the outside line approaching turn 1. He got the move done to the Finn, now ahead of Matt Tibos, and it looks like maybe slightly overheating, maybe to rule out on turn number on lap 1, where obviously he struggled off the line. lost all of those positions. He's now in 7th, and he's very fortunate to be now a second ahead of Matt Tibos. So, Yana now picking up the pace. Seems like he's got in his rhythm, which is really good to see. But now coming through turn number 11 and 12, on the run towards Ascari at 10-13. Yona leads the way. Jorgen second, Nick Houston third. It's building slowly. It's building nicely, I think, this race out on track. Ray's on the back of Matt Tibos, by the way, in towards Ascari. Norwegian thought about going for the move there. I was going to say to himself, if he went for a move there, that would have been absolutely ridiculous, because there was not an AlphaTauri-shaped gap coming through turn number 13. But Matt Tibos actually comes into the pit. So Matt Tibos is in to the pit lane. Very early pit stop. And this is for a set of hard compound tyres. This is a very early pit stop for Matt Tibos. Surely into the pit lane. And it is going to be for another set of mediums. Interesting. Oh, Noisy's at the race.
That is
safety car.
What a time for Matt to pit as well.
And what unfortunate, because he's got the safety car coming right out in front of him on the exit of the pit lane. So Matt Tibos has to wait in behind. He has to hold on to the safety car and hope that it doesn't crash into him. There is Noisy off into the wall by the way out of turn number 1. Matt Tibos negotiates the safety car nicely, which is really good. But that safety car has really helped him, I think. It's really fortunate, to be honest, that he's obviously came in and the safety car has been deployed. But Matt Tibos obviously still has to stick to the Delta like everyone else there down 11th. Unfortunate for Noisy, I didn't see what happened, but I can only assume he's got caught on the outside coming through turn number... on the curb coming through turn number 1, he's either spun it on the inside curb or he took too much curb on the outside and it's just flicked the car to the right and Noisy in the wall, out of the race. One of those two things happened, and unfortunately for him, he's out of the race. But that now means safety car and 11 drivers currently out on track. Yona leads the way, Jorgen second, Nick Houston third, and Storm, obviously, one-stop strategy we said could be likely. Looks like drivers are going out now, probably for a set of mediums.
Yeah, I think the mediums are the way to go. As just watching the drivers, hopefully they don't get the 5 second.
Oh my God.
Yeah, literally leaving it right on the limit. Yeah,
Neymar coming into the pit lane now. I thought he was going to overshoot it and just speed into the back of everyone coming into the pit lane.
Yeah.
Luckily, got the car stopped just about, and Neymar 6th currently coming out on track. And actually, he's actually overtaken Nathan Clark and Yana as a result, I believe. So Neymar, or certainly he's overtaken Nathan Clark. I think Nathan Clark was held up in the pit lane by obviously Neek coming in. Interesting strategy call though by Mr. Ray Meader. He is the current leader of this race. He leads the way, obviously. He's going to be leading the way under the safety car restart. But that's an interesting call. Staying on a set of medium compound tyres. Noisy, obviously, the other man who's starting on a set of mediums is at the race. So Ray is going out alone on the set of mediums, and hopefully hoping really that the rain is going to come, as I say, around lap 18, lap 19, because otherwise those tyres will not make it towards the rain.
Yeah, as the drivers are going to be expecting that rain near to the end of the race. Hopefully we get enough so we can see the drivers race in the rain, as we are with the Aston Martin, the green Aston Martin safety car, obviously, which we saw in the most recent real-life race, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, obviously, where Mick Schumacher had that unfortunate spin on the curb. And yeah, hopefully nobody has incidents like that this evening. Well, I know this is virtual, but we want all the drivers to finish and score as many points as possible, as it sometimes is just a little bit of a confidence boost, as you know, picking up points is you know, can help any way in form of the championship. As yeah, Ray Meader is leading that race at the moment.
He is indeed. Did Gill leaves the session. Thank him for attending. Nosy, I think, will probably be giving Jorg a bit of advice and being a third wheeler in terms of the commentary team here tonight. Obviously, Jorg is there in third. He's behind Jona underneath the safety car restart. And obviously, it's a standing start this time. We saw Jorg basically get a bit of wheel spin coming off the line. Jona obviously got the jump on him down in towards turn number 1, and that obviously extended his lead. With this safety car now in fruition, Jorg there has got a chance of getting back at Jona. What does Jorg have to do to overtake Jona? And does he have to think about more immediately Ray Meader in front? Because obviously Ray out in front could back up the whole pack.
Yeah, I think with the mediums also, because they're going to be under the safety car for a little bit, they're not going to be at the right temperature. As Ray Meader nearly went into the back of the safety car. Yeah, steady on, steady on. We don't need any more DSQs. We've had one earlier this evening. But yeah, I think you need, on a safety car restart, you need these mediums in the right temperature. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see who can get the better restart between the two Dutchmen of Jorg and Jona. If Jona can get a good restart, I think he'll be okay. He can go off and challenge Ray Meader for that race win. But if he gets a really bad restart, then I'm pretty sure that Jorg and maybe Nick as well could be there to pounce on that Aston Martin on that safety restart. But it's also going to be, it's kind of like a domino effect, as that safety car is going to come in this lap, and we are going to get back racing here on what will be lap number 9.
Yeah, Ray Meader now is the virtual Bernd Marlander. He is now the virtual safety car, and I'm immediately thinking, because of how quick he's going, he is going to go on the exit of the final corner, rather than some of the drivers, as I've seen around here, go corner 14, between turns 14 and turn 15. That's what I was trying to say there. But Ray has got every intention, I think, to back up this pack how he wants to. He is the leader out on track. He doesn't have to care about Jona and Jorg being on fresher tyres. If Ray's got pace on that sort of older medium compounder tyre, he will obviously exploit the likes of Jona and Jorg with their colder tyres. So we'll see what's going to happen. Ray coming out the final corner. On the run across the line, eventually he'll get there. On for the final corner, Jana has came into the pit lane. Jana into the pit. Oh, and there's Red Bull into the wall. Jorg into the wall, I believe, has lost positions at the start, and Ray has caught them absolutely napping. Don't know what happened further down the field with Jorg. He's run into the wall, I think, in towards turn number 1. And Ray leads the way. Jona in second. Nick Houston third. Jorg has been completely blindsided. And speaking of blindsided, Nathan Clark and Matt Tibbles are going side by side. 3 wide in towards turn number 3. Wait for corner. Doesn't go. And Nathan Clark waltzes around the outside. Matt Tibbles waltzes down the inside now at turn number 4. And a bit like waltzing Matilda, he gets that move done. He is Thunies into 7th. Jorg there into 8th. He's struggling enough to start. Simply Superman and Shaughnessy picked up a penalty. Jana, I'm not sure why he decided to come into the pit lane. They're in 11th position, unless he picked up front wing damage. Ray leads the way, though. Jona in second, Nick Houston third. Answers on a postcard, please. What happened to Jorg? Because all I saw was him spearing off to the left-hand side. Either he was very lucky not to hit the wall, or he has hit the wall and he's got a slight bit of damage on that left front wing.
Yeah, looking at Jorg's car, there's no evidence of front wing damage, but there may be some side pod and underfloor damage. I didn't quite see what happened, but I can think only one thing, that domino effect. I think Ray Meader kind of sped up a little bit and then kind of slowed down, and it just, Jona realised it, and obviously Jorg was just a little bit too late, as right behind Jorg is Simply Superman, as I think he may be lining up that Red Bull for an overtake in the next few corners.
More immediately, I think it's going to be the battle for the lead, because here comes Jona on the back of Ray Meader, down in toward Whiteford corner at turn number 3. The AlphaTauri holding the inside line. Jona doesn't want to risk that move. He's going to wait, I think, for the DRS to be enabled, or possibly the run out of turn number 12 and 13. To that little chicane, of course, up the hill and towards Ascari at turn 13. And actually, he's so much quicker than Ray. Ray is becoming an absolute nuisance, I think, out on track in front of him. And Jona, catches the curb, and Nick Houston now can catch back up. And Nick realises that, closes up within 2.5 tenths, now within 2 tenths, and Nick trying to exploit maybe a little bit of advantage there out of Jona's mistake, but Jona immediately back on the throttle, is right on the back of Ray once again. Comment, by the way, saying in the chat, thinks someone swerved into Jorg, which probably is fair enough to what I saw, certainly. It looked like he went into the wall coming out of the final corner, but it's all, I think, as a result of drivers obviously packing up in behind. And speaking of in behind, Nathan Clark to the inside line, and Matt Tibble, or Neymar even, gets the job done, or doesn't get the job done in that case. Neymar Thunies into 5th, and Nathan into 6th. It is really strange commentating on Neymar and Nathan, It is a bit of a mouthful to me to say, even. Neymar's 5th, Nathan Clark in 6th. Yona, by the way, on the back of Ray, not on the back of Bray. Goodness me, I'm losing the will to live here. Yona on the back of Ray, in towards turn number 1. I think Whitefoot corner, turn number 3 is his best bet because there's no DRS, remember, with the same detection zone, and Yona's going to have to do this the hard way, on the outside line, in towards turn number 3, Whitefoot corner, should try and go all the way around the outside of the Aston Martin, and the AlphaTauri is still alongside him. Beautiful helicopter cam, beautiful move by Yona. Now puts a car between himself and Nick Houston. He's through and he's into the race lead. Really, really nicely done. And fair play to Ray. He didn't back off that one bit. And fair play to him because he's still in the fight.
Yeah, there's so much action here on the track. As I think James is losing the driver's names that much. There's so much action. There's Jan sets the fastest lap. I didn't quite catch what lap time it was, but yeah, he's 18.8 seconds behind. Neymar with a 3-second penalty, and I suspect that's coming out of turn 12 and 13. Yeah. If you get the entry there wrong, you're going to set yourself up potentially for going wide. But yeah, Ray Meader is kind of backing off of Yona. I think he knows that he hasn't got the tyres really to be battling the driver. There's obviously that race lead, but Nick is got DRS and he is on an absolute charge, and I reckon he is going to be looking to get this move done quickly on Ray Meader, as he's got a bit of a train behind him, as he's going to get DRS again, and he is now going to be right up close. I don't think he's going to be enough for the move. No, he has a look, but that door is still firmly closed.
And it's because Ray actually had DRS coming through the final couple of corners and in towards obviously turns 1 and turn 3 there, where obviously the same DRS detection point is shared. Yona leading the way by a second. It keeps Ray into play. Nick Houston, though, I think is just wanting Ray possibly to get out of the way, because if Nick passes Ray, we've got an opportunity to have a commentary on Bray versus Ray. That's going to be a mouthful to say if these two get battling. Yona leading the way, Ray in second, Nick in third, Bray in fourth, Neymar on fifth, Nathan Clark looking quick as well on the back of Neymar, and obviously with Neymar's 3-second penalty and Shaughnessy's 3-second penalty, obviously we'll run through the penalties as we go along the race if we can. Nathan Clark has been caught completely out the wash, coming through the chicane there of 11 and 12 on, he's into the wall! Nathan Clark into the wall, right side end plate damage on the car. That looked like a steering wheel failure, I've got to be brutally honest there. Nathan Clark has not had the rubber green here tonight in Australia. He's got right side end plate damage. That was really strange, coming through turn 12. It's almost as if he's slowed down. Either his pedal went or his wheel went. One of the two happened there, and unfortunately he's down pretty much now out of this race. And Ray once again has got DRS on the back of Yona, but here comes Nick Houston, much better run, coming out of turns 2, and now in toward Whitefoot corner at turn number 3, thinks about going to the outside line. Ray covers him off though, and to be fair, Ray, really good defensive driving, but for how long, as Nick tries to go all the way around the outside through turn 4, doesn't get the move done. Yona leads the way, and Nick is literally saying to Ray, get out of the way, man, Bray's behind me. And Bray and Neymar arguably are looking quite quick. Nathan Clark, by the way, still continuing on. Centre soft compound tyres go on. Well, that was really strange, I've got to be honest. That was a voice crack and a half there as well. That was really strange for Nathan Clark to go into the wall. I can only think it's either pedal related or steering wheel related. And that's why I picked up the damage.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation when them situations do happen, as Nick should I say, is right on the back. He must be absolutely one frustrated Dutchman at the minute, because he is literally trying everything to get past this AlphaTauri, because he's got Bree right behind him, and yeah, it's literally going to have to be some insane overtaking, I think, from Nick, as he doesn't want anyone to follow him behind, as he's going to get DRS coming down the start-finish line as they head into turn 1. He's still not close enough, and I think that might just be because Jonah is giving Ray Meader DRS, and he is, as Ray Meader gets DRS again, as but hold on a minute, I think Nick is going to go for this. No, maybe not. No, that door is still firmly closed, and I think he is getting... Oh no, massive! That is absolutely an error from Ray Meader, and that was luckily not an incident, as XL Bree is also going to have a look, and that was some swift overtaking from the Dutchman of Nick, as he gets himself up to P2. But it looks like XL Bree is going to have a look going through that DRS zone in turn 13.
Bray and Ray about to go battling, but A, how did Ray keep it out the wall coming out of turn number 4? And B, how did he fit into a gap between Nick Houston and Bray coming out of turn number 4 as well? That was insane! He could have easily just let everyone through. He didn't. He doesn't want to give up these positions, the Norwegian. And now Bray is on the back of him, and immediately the Maltese man's going to be easily frustrated. What I was oohing about, by the way, last lap around was Cloud beginning to build over the circuit slightly. It has just taken the edge possibly off the temperatures there out on track. Coming, by the way, with a redeemed highlight my message of 100. Nice move, he said, and I think that was in relation to... I don't know. We've been commentating for ages. I forgot who made a move on who. Bray, by the way, was looking for a move on Ray. Doesn't get the move done down in towards turn number 1. Jorg on the back of Matt Tibos just in behind as well. And Bray very slow to actually put on that DRS this time around. Doesn't get this move done in towards turn number 3 away for corner. Jorg, however, on the back of Matt Tibos. Mighty Walters to the right-hand side. In towards turn number 3. Doesn't get the move done though. And it's Matt Tibos in 6th, Jorg in 7th, Simply Superman in 8th, Jonas there in 9th, and it was Yona, of course, that made the move. So Yona on Nick Houston, 1.8 seconds now, the gap between them both. Nathan Clark is continuing on, looking quite quick actually on that Tilasoft compound tyre, but he's out of the pit lane and he's well down the field. He needs a safety car, Yana needs a safety car, and Ray was very close to the wall coming out of turn 10.
Yeah, some insane racing here, as I think Bree is going to be having a look at Ray in a moment.
He will now.
Yeah, as the Mercedes going to slip up the inside there and gets that move done. I just wonder if Ray is having some overcooked tyres now, and they are coming to the end of their life, as we are coming to maybe the final 10 laps.
Thomas!
Well, 14.
Jonas down the inside line, sorry to cut you off. Matt Tibos is having a wild one in behind. He's lost 3 positions out of nothing. Jorg, I think, and him went side by side out of turn number 11, then through turn 12, and then toward 13. Matt Tibos lost, I think, ground coming out of turn 12. Jorg overtook him. Simply Superman overtook him. Jonas has now overtaken him. And Matt Tibos is literally out with a goldfish, I think, at this point. He's down there in 9th position, really struggling in terms of his tyres. The Alpine looks like he's either overheated those tyres, and, I mean, looking at his rears, they look shot already, and he's only been on them 10 laps.
Yeah, it does take a strain, I think, on the mediums, as they are coming now to the final 13 laps, and as you mentioned, that cloud is just creeping in that ever so slightly, as, the gap that Yona has is around about 1.5. That can all change in the blink of a second, though, as we are going to get ready for the final 12 and a half laps here in Australia.
And remember as well, when is the rain going to come? I am going to say in around 2 or 3 laps time, to be honest, because looking at the cloud has really built over the circuit now. Not so much coming through the final sector, but through the middle sector you can tell by the shadows on the track it is just getting darker and darker. Rain looking like building over the circuit just on the exit maybe of turn 5. Looking at that right camera angle with Simply Superman on the back of Jorg running down towards turn 1. Irishman sails past the Dutchman, he's into 6th, and the Dutchman now needs to get his skates on because he's now under pressure from Jonas in behind, who's recovered very well, I've got to say, from early on in the race. He's there in 8th. Matt Tibos there in 9th has now dropped off the train. But it's Jonas into the back of Jorg! Jonas into the back of Jorg. Both of them somehow keep it going. Shadows are now going behind the clouds, and it looks ominous now that the rain is going to come. Do you know what the last time I said? Do you know what lap I said, by the way, the rain will come?
I can't even remember there's been that much action.
Lap 18-19.
Wow. If you was a betting man, I think I would take your advice. Just this one race. I don't think I would for the rest of the season. But yeah, that cloud has now come over.
Imminent.
And we may be looking at some tasty battles here this evening. As that rain is going to be coming soon. As Nathan picks up a 3-second time penalty. And wow, what a race so far.
What a race. Oh, Neymar very sideways coming out the final. Couple of corners there. Just about kept the car going in a straight line. My voice is going as well. Neymar on the back of Ray. Ray stays fourth. Neymar on fifth. Fortunate, I think, for Ray to stay in that position. Thought there was rain, actually. Oh, Nick Houston's out the race. Nick Houston out of the race coming out of turn number 2. And it's a safety car. And that might be the... Possibly, if it rains now, the worst timed safety car I think I've ever seen in TTML. Nick Houston out of the race. Everyone has came past the pit lane by Yana and Nathan Clark. If it rains now, what do they decide to go on? Do they go on inters? Do they go on dries? I don't know what's going to happen. Softs for Yana. Softs, I think. No, inters for Nathan Clark. Inters for Nathan. Softs for Yana. Interesting strategy. One of them had to go halfway road. If it rains now, Nathan Clark has pulled off the undercut of the century, and I think it is actually raining out on track now. Is it? I don't know. I can't really see. It's not at the minute.
50-50. Yeah, I think there's minor drops coming down. I don't think it's heavy, but I think by the end of this safety car, I think we could be seeing it coming down enough. But yeah, very unfortunate for Nick. Proved that he could be up there on the podium, fighting for the podium, and yeah, not a great night for Haas so far.
All I want is Ray to come on lap 18 or 19 and I'll be very happy with myself. Let's see what Jona's going to do though. These guys are now coming into the pit lane. Is it going to rain out on track? It looks as if it's a couple of minutes away, to be brutally honest. Bray stays out. Bray Inspired stays out. Simply Superman, I believe, is also staying out, is he? Yona goes on inters. Yona on inters. Ray for a set of softs. This is mad. Neymar for a set of softs. Simply Superman, I think that's a set of inters, possibly, for Simply Superman. Yorg, set of inters. Matt Tibos, set of softs for Matt Tibos. Yano and Nathan Clark, one set of softs and inters. This is mad. Bray stays out, Chonna stays out, they're both on mediums, they both lead the way. Yona there in third. At this moment in time, I'm going to say this now, have the interrunners just shot themselves in the foot?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one to call because the track looks like it's wet, but there's no rain in sight. Yeah, it's... I think it's one of... You either got the right decision, or you've absolutely... I'm not going to obviously swear or anything, but you've absolutely fluffed your lines. You've got the strategy wrong, and I think this is where we find out who has made the right call, and maybe who has literally fluffed their lines and made the most horrendous strategy call, probably this race.
And possibly this season in any TTML as well.
Yeah.
Buckle up, everyone. It's going to be one wild, wacky ride to the end here Down Under. We are going to be waiting, I think, 2 more laps, possibly, in the safety car, because Nathan Clark's on the other side of the track. No way, I don't think he's getting that set of inters onto the safety car by the end of the next lap. So we might get possibly 2 more laps out of the safety car just yet. But Bray leads the way. Sun still glaring through the clouds mean that the rain, for me, is not that imminent, and that is why we've seen a majority of drivers go on a set of softs. Well, I'll say that, it's halfway house, really, but we've seen a majority of drivers go on to a set of soft compound tyres. Ray Neymar, Matt Tibos and Yana, all on a set of softs. Everyone else, Yona Simply Superman, York and Nathan Clark, who have gambled, and the rain is falling on lap 19. Oh my god, I got that right once again. Bray leads the way, Chodas in second, Yona in third, and the rain is now falling out on track. Yana comes into pit lane, realises that there's going to be inter soon. But are we going to get a situation where, with 9 laps to go in this race, the rain falls, but it doesn't actually impact on the surface of the track?
Yeah, it goes back to Russia last year with Lando Norris, where he opted to not go for the inters, and it did cost him, obviously. Lewis Hamilton went through and got past him. Not the way he wanted, I'm sure. But yeah, it does just bring into question. I don't think the softs are the right compound tyre through this situation. Maybe the mediums, maybe the hard, because they are the more tyres kind of for this situation. But yeah, I think anyone on the softs, you may have just cost yourself a podium maybe, or a top finish as you may have to pit again.
I'll ask you this question now. If you were Ray, Neymar and Matt Tibos on that set of soft compound tyres, what would you do? Would you cut your losses and come into the pit lane now for set of inters and lose a couple of positions? Or would you stay on a set of softs, see if the track is wet enough, and then maybe be forced intra-pit stop out on track? Because if I was them, personally, I'd be cutting my losses now and coming into the pit lane.
Yeah, I think in this situation, you know, we hear a lot about drivers saying, oh, they want the track position. But I think in this situation, if you are a soft runner, or maybe the top two on the mediums, maybe while that safety car is out, yes, you're going to lose track positions, but what benefits you're going to have?
Tinter's now
safety car. Yeah, I think they know.
Yeah,
they
realise
are
it.
into the pits. Yeah, they've realised and they've noticed, but they are going to be on the freshest.
Jonna, sorry to cut you off there. Jonna now leads the way, in spite of call from the interrunners in the end. Neymar stayed out! Neymar has stayed out on a set of soft compounded tyres. Is he mad? Jonna leads the way. Neymar now in second. He's the only man on a set of dry tyres. Simply Superman in third, Jorgen fourth. Jonna, by the way, didn't mention in the chat earlier on in the Discord, if the rain is going to be here from 45 minutes onwards, or if it's going to dry up and it's a quick shower and it dries up before the end of the race. Didn't mention that at all. Neymar, I think, is gambling now on that, but look at the track storm. It is just so damp and so greasy. Neymar has made completely the wrong call. He has shot himself in the foot. We are going to get probably the safety car in this lap as well, and DRS is going to be disabled once the safety car comes in.
Yeah, I think he, I know he's a wheel user, I know that, so he may be, it's a tricky one. I think, in agreement with you, I think, he has made a bit of a fluff your lines moment, and I think he's made the potentially the wrong decision, but, you know, we are in, down under, and, it looks like I bought the stormy weather.
Yeah.
No pun.
Definitely not. Safety car is in this lap though, and Jonan is now the virtual Bert Marlander. He is now the virtual safety car, and in the end, what has turned out to be what I thought was an absolutely ridiculous call, I've got to be honest, to go on that set of inters, has possibly become now the most inspired call in TTML F2 history, with Jonan now leading the safety car. But is Neymar going to get that run? Is it still dry enough for those set of softs to get past those inters on the restart of this race? Jona's got to be careful. They're going to be literally like a sheet of ice, I think, at this point. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Storm doesn't know what's going to happen. My God, the Australian fans don't know what's going to happen. They've seen their fair share of racing in the past in Melbourne as well. But Jona, now, around the final corner, he's got to go as early as possible, and you can tell, even coming through the final corner at Tinters, Jona massively pulls away from from Neymar, and Simply Superman's now going to be on the back of Neymar and towards turn number one, but Neymar's already lost a second, just out of turn for the final corner. Jona leads the way, he's getting away, Neymar's nearly off the circuit, goodness me, he just needs to get out of the way, I think, at this point. Simply Superman in second, Jorgen third, Neymar realising it's the wrong call. Yana now down the inside line, possibly into white for corner, doesn't actually go for the move, knows that Neymar's going to go out wide, and Neymar does go out wide, and it's going to be absolutely terrific now for Bray to try and get past, and Jonas has got through as well. Bray into the wall! Bray into the wall on Neymar. Bray speared across the circuit, has got no fumbling at all. Neymar with the set of softs. And you should heed my saying, set of softs, just get out of the way, I think, at that point for Neymar. And Bray has unfortunately got himself caught on Neymar's car, and that is why they've both now spun, and they're both pretty much out the races. Nathan Clark is pressurising Ray here, coming out of turn number 10, and look at the run that the Haas has got to the inside line. A little bit of wheel banging, but I think he's going to get this move done. And he will get this job done. In towards turn 11, Nathan Clark, lovely move on Ray, he's through and he's into 6th.
Yeah, what a comeback for the other Haas drivers. It's all going off here as Neymar, I think, knows now that he made the wrong call, and he'll be punished, I think, with that extra pit stop he's now going to have to make. And he's going to be on the fresher inters, but yeah, I think him chances of a podium Yeah, unless there's another safety car, which I don't think will happen. Yeah, it's gonna have to settle for another podium this evening. But yeah, Jan is also closing up the gap to York, just under a second. No DRS, I believe,
Nope.
as it's going to be disabled for the rest of the race. I don't think we'll have any more DRS, so we're going to have to rely on the driver's pure pace here. And I think Jan may just have the upper hand here.
He might just have the upper hand, and he's in a really fortunate position compared to last week, obviously, because 8/10 of a second behind Jorg. Jorg's now in the back of Simply Superman, who I think has just made a cataclysmic mistake coming out of turn number 5. Jana there in 4th, 7/10 of a second in behind, but remember, we took that feature race win in Belgium. And what was it in Belgium? It was dries towards the end of the race. Completely the polar opposite here. He's dealing really well, I've got to say. Jana in 4th, Tronas there in 5th. Not the quickest drivers, but certainly Jana has been one of the cleanest. Jona leading the way, Simply Superman in 2nd, Jorg in 3rd. We better go on to lap 24, so 6 laps to go after this lap is complete. Jona leading the way, Simply Superman in 2nd, Jorg in 3rd. I was going to say Jorg's in the wall. I don't know why that came into my mind there. Jorg might be in the wall. You never know what might happen later on in this race. Don't want to preempt any fate. Jona, though, 3.4 seconds clear of Simply Superman. Currently looking like an Aston Martin 1-2, but if you're looking up the pace, as of the yellow flag in sector 2, that is a Bray that is round coming through turn number 8. He must have got caught in the inside curve there. But Jona leading the way, 3.5 seconds. It pretty much looks like Jona's race now.
Yeah, it is, and Jorg has also got a penalty that will hurt him at the end. Not physically, obviously, we don't condone that. But yeah, it's going to drop him down. Looking at this now, potentially from 3rd to 5th. And also, what a comeback for one of the other. Is that an Alpine or is that a Williams? No, the Williams of. Is it to Joe? I can't. I'm
Jonas.
Really good. Yeah. What James said. Yeah, I'm not really good with difficult names, and just pick a simple PSN name, please, in the future. But yeah, no, he could be in a really good position to come back in this race. He's looking at a P4, because obviously Jan will take P3 off of Jorg, unless Jorg in the last 5 laps can pull out some magic of a 3-second gap.
Tronas though has got a 3-second penalty, and I think that's what we have to come on to. Jorg's, well, penalty. Tronas, Nathan Clark, Naimov all got 3-second penalties at this stage. So Tronas, I don't think will be on for P4. I think he'll be on for P5. He is on for P4 in terms of this battle, but if it stays as it is, and Jana pulls away like he is doing now in the final sector and through the final corners, Jana will hold on to P4, but as long as he can keep up the gap to Jorg, I'd be a bit concerned because he is dropping a little bit of pace down the straights compared to Jorg and Simply Superman, and they're obviously in a bit of a slipstream train because they're 1.2 seconds ahead, 2nd and 3rd at the minute. 5 laps to go. Jona leads the way, Simply Superman in 2nd, Jorg in 3rd. By the way, if you have enjoyed this race, you can of course follow us on Twitch. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube as well when this video was being uploaded later on. If you're already on YouTube, good evening. My name is James Head and Storm's alongside me in the commentary box, as you probably already guessed. But Jona leads the way, Simply Superman in 2nd, Jorg in 3rd. Jana, Chonas, Nathan Clark, Ray, Matt Tibos, Name on Bray. Need a safety car. There's not going to be one. Simply the final 4 laps of the race, and I think their chances now being completely and utterly run out on track. But the main battle I think to focus on is this battle for second. Simply Superman and Jorg. Jorg looking a lot quicker than Simply Superman in these conditions. Inters on the back of obviously the Inters. Aston Martin 2nd in the championship. Jorg a little bit further down in terms of the championship. He's there in 3rd. Could he now perhaps put an effort on Simply Superman and force him into a mistake?
Yeah, I think also in these type of conditions, I was just riding on board with Jan. I think it was turn 12. No, it might have been turn 11 actually. He came out and he had the most understeer I've ever seen out of a corner of that nature. And I just wonder if his tyres are just a little bit too hot. And as you can see, the Williams, he's not closing up much, but it's just a little bit each lap as we come to the final 3 laps here in TTML F2.
Yeah, 4 laps to go including this one. Jona leads the way, Simply Superman in 2nd. Jona's now pulled away from his closest rival, his teammate as well, here tonight. But Yona, in the end, that call was absolutely inspired by the Aston Martin driver. He was the first one to come in for set of inters. Nobody else really came in bar him. And obviously with that safety car, being fortunate, he's put himself in a really promising position to win this, unless he DNFs now between the now and the end of the race. He's pretty much going to have another win on the board. He's going to extend his championship lead. York, however, is not letting Simply Superman go. He's right on the back again with a bit of oversteer coming out of turn number 10. Now through into the kink of, the chicane of turns 11 and 12. Famously, of course, where John Lacey broke down after he ran out of fuel in the, it was 1999, I'm tempted to say, Grand Prix around here. It was something late 90s anyways. Yona leads the way, Simply Superman in second, Jorgen third, Yana, Chonas, Nathan Clark, Raymat, Sibos, Neymar and Bray. So difficult to overtake in these conditions, Storm. Are we going to see any?
Yeah, it's... I don't think I will see the rain stopping, but yeah, I think it's going to be very tasty, as Nathan is right on the back of the Williams, so that could be a battle. They both got penalties, so actually let's just bring the viewers up to date on the penalties. Oh, they're all threes.
So
York on 3, the Williams are on 3, Nathan's on 3, and obviously Neymar, who's a whopping 31.7 seconds behind, is in P9, and he's also got 3. So hopefully, maybe if XL Bree can get that time down, the gap, he may be just looking at a P9 instead of a P10.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, he's 11.5 seconds behind Neymar, so I don't think that gap's going to come down unless Neymar spins the car and he's in the wall or something. Then possibly. Chonas, under pressure from Nathan Clark coming out of turn 10, in now through the famous kink, of course, and then in towards turns 11 and 12. Nathan on the back of Chonas, the Williams and the Haas, not going to be doing battle. And towards turn 13, Matt Tibbles there in 8th position, Neymar and Bray staying as they are in 9th and 10th. But Yona leads the way. We've only got 2 more laps to go. My voice is going, so that's why I'm having to talk a little bit quieter now. Yona though leading the way, but one thing to note, Storm, actually, with these conditions, Yona predicted it that it was going to rain. The rain is getting heavier towards the end of the race rather than lighter.
Yeah, as they are coming on to what will be the final 2 laps, and yeah, the Inters have actually held out pretty well, and yeah, and well, obviously myself and James will be probably soon giving our driver of the day, and I do have one in mind. We won't get into what me and Mike were last season, a bit of a agree to disagree situation, but I have to say, what a race from Simply Superman. He started on the hard compound tyre, and he's got himself up to P2, helping his teammate, and what a race this could be for Aston Martin. Some big points as well.
Big points as well, and obviously, since that transition from Ferrari, oh my god, I thought Nathan Clark was going to lose it coming through turn number 8. I was literally had hand in my face sort of moment there, because I thought he was going to end up spinning it into the wall. He didn't, he recovered the car, and Nathan Clark there in 6th has recovered quite well. But yeah, Simply Superman, I think, has approached this race really well. He went on that set of hards, obviously went for a different strategy compared to everyone else. No wonder he went on a set of hard compound tyres, because the rain came pretty much where I predicted it to, lap 19, lap 20, and he's there in 2nd position, and frankly, he deserves... I don't know if he deserves driver of the day. I'm undecided going on to the final lap of the race, but Yona, for me, I think is going to get it, because he's 5.8 seconds clear. He made a really, I called it at the time, a ridiculous call, and in the end it became a ridiculously good call, and that is why he's won this race, because of that early call coming into the pit lane, first lap of the safety car. Hardly anybody else followed him in, and that's why he's going to win. Yorg's on the back of Simply Superman, but he's not going to get close enough, and I think we've pretty much got Yona, Simply Superman and Yana rounded up for the top 3 here. Yeah, it looks like it is going to be an Aston Martin 1-2. Obviously, not what they are showing in real life, obviously, in the 2022 to 23 season. But yeah, to put it quite in a picture-perfect situation,
For Aston Martin, it was a simply Superman performance, and yeah, trying not to bring the puns, but yeah, no, it's been an absolute race. Fantastic race to come back to after recovering from a very bad sore throat. It's all them commentaries I'm having to do, and I'm sure there'll be more to come as going through turn 12 and 13. As I have to break that conversation, as it looked like Nathan was going to have a look at the Williams, but it may be a little bit too late as they come now across the line in a few short moments, as Jonah is going to take the provisional race win here in round number 7 for the Australian Grand Prix, and his teammate is going to be up there with him as Simply Superman. He did a simply beautiful race, and he gets himself on the podium in second place. Jan will take P3, Jorg will stay P4, and then I shall hand over to James for the remainder.
Yeah, Jona takes the win though out on track. Phenomenal performance, I think, once again. Undercut strategy, worked to perfection, I think, underneath that safety car. And he ended up from being men at work, to going down under, to being multi-Matilda, to go dancing at the end of the race. And if you get all of those songs within a pun, you deserve an award. Jona wins from Simply Superman in second, Jana there in third. Everyone's now probably wondering, what's the dancing one? Kylie Minogue, of course, Australian singer with dancing. Anyways, we're waiting for Bray to come across the line. He finishes in P10. Sorry, Bray. We have to put a Kylie Minogue pun in there. Unfortunately, with her being Australian, of course. But Jona takes Driver of the Day. Does he take Driver of the Day award by the in-game fans? No. It goes to Simply Superman. I think it's well deserved, to be honest, with his great drive from that set of hards to that set of enters. One-stop strategy pulled off to perfection. But it is Jona simply too strong out on track, and he takes the race win here in Australia and extends his championship lead.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw this question to yourself, James. Jorg finished P4. Is that damage limitations this race? Because obviously Jona winning the champion, not the championship. Nearly said he'd won the championship. Winning this race, does it just give him damage limitations that he still was up there with the top 4?
It does. I mean, Jorg, to be honest, in terms of last season, when he challenged Jona for the title, or Jona rather challenged him for the title, Jorg has looked a little bit of a shadow of his former self. I think this race has honestly worked out more in his favour than anybody else's around him. So Jorg, in the end, finishes in P4, but it doesn't take away, obviously, what might happen after the break week, of course, because we're done here in F2 until the break week. Happy Easter, by the way, everyone, before I forget. Jona wins, of course, from Simply Superman in second, Jana there in third, Jorg in fourth. Bit of damage limitation, I've got to agree, but finishing in fourth, still a good result. Tronis there in fifth, Nathan Clark in sixth, Ray in seventh, Matt Tibos in eighth, Neymar in ninth, Bray round off the top 10, and Sneak Houston, Noisy, and DJ Gill, who round off the top 13. Of course, all of them 3 DNF, but it's Jona who wins, Simply Superman in second, Jana in third. Shall we try and get the top 3 in?
Yeah, while we do that, I think it's the only appropriate time that we might have. Your driver of the day, James, any names you want to throw out there? Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we won't get into an agree to disagree argument.
I don't know, I'm torn, honestly, between the two Aston Martins. Jona, on one hand, drove a phenomenal race. He dominated the first half of the race. Then that safety car came out, had to do it the hard way again. He came in for that set of mediums, and he was really under pressure by Ray. It was a lovely move in the end to get that move, obviously, for the net lead. Put himself and Nick Houston pretty much a car inside. Jona took the lead of the race there. He didn't really look back from that point until the second safety car, and he could have easily bottled it under the second safety car. In the end, he had a driver and a set of softs behind him. Jona takes the win, but I'm going to have to give it to Simply Superman. I think Simply Superman, in terms of his performance today, set of hards to a set of inters, one-stop strategy. The Irishman, I think, drove a fantastic race. And for me, taking Neymar out of the question compared to Jona, Neymar wouldn't have been anywhere near Jona coming to the end of the race. So, yeah, Simply Superman for me, driver of the day.
Yeah, I think I'll echo the same as you as well. Yeah, he did a simply beautiful race, if you want to put it that way. and I was quite baffled that he went on for the hards at the start of the race, but it paid off. He got himself on the podium, and massive points for the Aston Martin team, and I'm sure they'll be bouncing up in joy in Ireland and Dutch tonight as they take a P1 and P2 down under.
Definitely so. I've just seen, by the way, about F3. Dundee apparently has rage quit the league after the last lap around Australia with Zam. That, I think, might just see a shadow of what we're possibly going to be seeing in F3 as a result of, obviously, the race there tonight. Mike, I'm sure, will comment along with Ivan about that. They'll probably... it might be like John Howell Party later on or something, I don't know. But Dundee has, unfortunately, rage quit the league, and if that's anything to go by... Don't rage quit the league, my friends. Do not stoop down to the level that they have done. Obviously, probably an incident on the final lap of the race. Don't stoop down to that level. Literally be as clean as these guys were. Apart from a few mistakes out on track, it was probably one of the cleanest races of the season I think I've seen here in F2. And it just comes to show quality is better than quantity.
Yeah, I think... From commentating F3 last season, I have to say last season was better. Yeah, I think I'm not saying the drivers have decided to think it's an open lobby, but when I did the commentary, I think it was not China. What was the one after China? I can't remember now.
It was... Hang on, I need to remember myself. I'll have a look at the calendar and bloody tell you.
Yeah. Well, anyways, even when I did that race...
Saudi Arabia.
It wasn't, as I said to you, because obviously you asked me about it, and it just wasn't the cleanest. I don't know, as you're more of an admin than I am. Maybe just, they need a bit of punishment in there to say, come on, this is an actual league, this is a proper league, and look at the opportunities that they have coming up as, the Drivers' Champion, or, drivers in this, in F3, could, being commentated by us. Well, that depends if I am F2 next season. And look at the racing standards in F2. Okay, there was a few, mishaps and few errors made by a few drivers, but it was clean racing, and that's all what we asked for.
Yeah, clean racing indeed, and obviously going forward I think we ask that of everyone, no matter if you are the cleanest driver in the world and approach your races 100% perfectly. Nobody approaches their races 100% perfectly, so if you're that person, think about what you're doing out on track, because you're never 100% perfect, as are the drivers obviously who go into the race and think, yeah, I'll try and get away with it. If I cause an incident, I cause an incident, and I'll let the stewards decide on what's going to happen. If that's your mindset in terms of the races, you've got the wrong mindset. Simple as that. And anybody, I think, going forward in TTML, we're obviously an inclusive league. We want to be one of the best, if not the best league out there. And without the guys behind the scenes, without you guys, of course, the drivers, we wouldn't be anywhere near. By the way, are we getting the top 3 in by any chance? Because I haven't invited them at all.
Well, you won't get Simply Superman, as he's simply left. The only driver here is Jonah and Jan. Last time I tried...
I'll quickly go blue screen, and because I think I've just been tagged by Yona, perhaps, in the actual Discord. It is indeed, yes, it is Yona that has said, party! Yes, Yona, we have got a party coming your way, as we have with Yana as well. Simply Superman, I don't think any either speaks, to be honest, in terms of the interviews. I've never had an interview with him before. What is Yana's PSN name, by the way? 475. It's always the numbers I get mixed up on, because I think I typed in 455 last week and it took me about 10 minutes to realise it was wrong. But there we are. Those two have been invited into the party, which is good. Hopefully we'll be able to get some interviews in very soon indeed with the man who finished in P1, and we can now indeed go to the man who finished in P1. It is, of course, Yona. And Yona, first of all, I have to make a really stark comment towards you. What on earth were you doing going on to a set of inters in that second safety car restart?
Rain is imminent. Rain is imminent. That's what I heard constantly when asking Jeff. I was all by myself, sitting in silence. Didn't know what to do whatsoever. Because of course I saw it happen behind me, Nick crashing out. Into turn 2 or 3 is that then, I immediately slowed down because I knew, okay, this is gonna be safety car. So I began thinking, what am I gonna do? Because Jeff was saying it was coming, but it was still a bit sunny. Of course, it was a bit cloudy, but it was still sunny. So I had to make up my mind, and quite early actually I just thought to myself, I have to go to Inters now, and then hope it starts raining fast enough, and that on the restart I don't lose, or either not too much time, or I gain time, because I made the right call. The last thing happened to be true.
Yeah, it happened to be true, and it paid out, I think, to what you expected it to as well, which I think is rather fortunate. I was convinced in commentary that the rain was going to come. Lap 19, I was right in terms of the lap 19. I didn't expect a safety car on lap 19 either. But obviously, you had Neymar behind you and that underneath that restart. Set us off compared to tyres he had on. Did you feel like it was still dry-ish sort of weather out on track and he could get you down towards turn 1?
Well, initially sort of, but then at the restart when I look back I saw him aquaplaning in like, well, it would have been 5th or 6th gear, so I knew, okay, I just, I'm gone. I've liked it. Mop it. No, I'm putting a bit of a meme, of course. But yeah, as soon as I watched behind and I saw Neymar struggling, I knew there was just my time to shine, and put the pedal to the metal and go. Try and create as much of a gap. Also because I couldn't help but it stuck with me that on the first safety car restart, I just don't know what happened. With I believe it was York. Was it York?
It was, yeah.
Confirm? Yeah, behind me. I was focused on Ray, of course, in front of me. On the safety car restart, you're not often looking behind, and it was taking quite long, and he started weaving a bit at the exit of the last corner. So I looked at my temperatures, started weaving as well a bit, and then he went. But at the moment, just like 2 seconds, 3 seconds before he went, and it was weaving, and I weaved a bit, I suddenly saw a red arrow in the left side of my screen, and it all happened so fast. So then Ray started accelerating, and I of course reacted to that. And then I looked behind, and I saw the Red Bull in the grass, and I thought, what the hell just happened, you know? So, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a penalty, but you never know, so that's why I just kept pushing and pushing till the very end, to create as big of a gap as I could. But initially I thought, was it me? Am I the drama here? Nah, probably not. No, I guess it was just unfortunate that he was trying to get alongside for the restart, not expecting any more movement, and yeah, so that was a bit weird, but ultimately it was a very strong race for me.
Yeah, really strong race from your perspective. You take the championship lead as well going into the break week. Going into the second half of the season, I think I asked this last week as well, going into the second half of the season, what is your main focus now, more immediately? Is it the championship, or is it another race win and trying to extend that championship lead a bit further?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, in terms of the second half of the season coming up, we've got the break week obviously coming up. What's your focus for the rest of the season? Is it leading the championship going into, obviously, in the next race, or are your eyes a little bit brighter and focusing on that championship victory?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate, of course, my teammates simply for I think the first 1-2 of the season. And now it's all focus on of course, I've said this many times, maintaining the gap and preferably extending it in terms of points, and I just win the championship as fast as possible. I think that's the most satisfying way to do it for me.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully it might come down to a thriller like we had last season with you and Jorg, obviously going into the final race of the season.
That would be a good one as well. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it would be a good one for the viewer. I gotta agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen here in F2. Hopefully we'll get better attendance as well going into after the break week. Storm, however, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, mine's actually for Jan, if he's actually there. I don't know if he is.
He's here.
Yeah. So my question for Jan is, coming into Australia this evening, was a podium on the cards for you? Did you think it was realistic, knowing in qualifying that there would be some rain? And did you feel more comfortable in the dry or in the wet?
I think that pretty much covers it. I think from Jan's question there.
And yeah. Oh, and I think also to Yona as well. You and your teammate taking the maximum points this evening. Does that just give you a confidence booster going into the rest of the season? And is your main focus still on that constructors title, as I know you are in that drivers championship battle as well?
Yeah, both. I rather have both than one. So yeah, focus is on us as the team doing good, and for me, it's of course winning the championship as well, and of course probably for him as well. But I'm gonna do just a cheeky Hamilton Rosberg, you know, just keeping him behind, but keeping it clean, of course. I'm seeing I'm being reported for the incident, but I'll just submit my POV and I don't know. We'll see.
Remember to submit it this time, unlike last week.
Yeah, yeah. We don't want to be seeing you with any 10-second penalties after last week.
No, exactly. No, but last week I can understand. You know, I can understand. Last week there was a rushed move, you know. I want to get it done, and just a mistake doing it. But for this one, I don't know.
Yeah, I think for the if I'm right in thinking, the thing that you've been reported for, the safety car thing, I think somebody behind Jorg may have tapped the back of his car, because 1 minute he was all there, the next minute we just see him nearly go into a wall. I don't know how he saved it, but yeah, I don't think you're at fault. I think it was just an error from everybody that was behind you, because nobody knew when Ray was going to go.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a last minute decision of, well, is he going to go before the final corner, or is he going to go on the start finish? And I think he sped up a little bit and then slowed down, which didn't catch you but caught everybody behind, like a domino effect, really.
Yeah, I'm seeing his POV now. I can't imagine this being my fault. We'll just have to
wait and see what
the stewards...
Yeah,
I'm gonna submit my POV and the stewards can decide, but I'm pretty convinced it's not worth the 10-second time penalty. But
no. I think
never know.
You'll win this week. Well, yeah.
I hope so.
Well, thank you to yourself, Jonah and Jan, for joining us in the commentary box, and you're more than welcome to depart now if you want to go and enjoy. Oh no, it's James.
I've got one more question. One more question for you both. I'm going to go to Yona first, obviously, because he won tonight. Imola, after the break week, more immediately, how do you think you're going to get on around there?
I think pretty solid. Maybe a bit more need to be a bit more cautious on the warnings. I did good today on the warnings, so maybe that goes on into the next race. But it's a fun track. It's a bit of the same nature as Australia, very hard to overtake. So qualifying is going to be very important.
And also the weather, I think, as well.
And the way, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Who knows what's going to happen in Imola next week? And Jana, same question to you. How do you think you're going to get on? Because you've had a real good run of podiums the last 2 weeks. It'll be fantastic too, obviously. Hopefully both of you might be on the podium in 2 weeks' time as well. In the meantime, though, I have to wish you both a very happy Easter, because I won't be seeing you, of course, next week with the break week.
Aww.
But you can both go and enjoy evening.
Yes, thanks, mate. And as always, thanks for the commentates.
That's alright, it's not a problem. And I think we're going to have to nickname Jan, the TTML Kimi Räikkönen, as when he does interviews, he's not much of a talker. But yeah, no, thanks for joining us this evening. Obviously, happy Easter from myself as well, and everybody at TTML, and obviously all the viewers as well. But yeah, James, another race done in TTML, and wow, what a race. It's been down under. As James mentioned before, we won't be here next week as it is the Easter break week, and we will return back in 2 weeks for Imola.
Definitely so, and we go to the land of pizza pie. Of course, it is Italy. I'm never repeating that ever again, by the way, on stream. I had that one in the back of my head, and literally I had to say that. But yeah, we go to Italy, of course, the home of pizza, the home of pasta, the home of whatever else Italy's good for. The Eurovision Song Contest, of course, in May. And yeah, it's going to be a really good event.
Just
of course.
Don't mention the World Cup.
Not the World Cup, obviously, and well, we can mention the Euros because they won that, but definitely not the World Cup because they got knocked out, of course, by North Macedonia. And the less we say about that, of course, the absolute better, I think. But Imola, of course, in 2 weeks' time, going to be fantastic. We always get a good race around there. Hopefully, it's going to be another good one, of course, in Imola at the Autodromo Enzo E. Dino Ferrari, and with famous corner names, of course, like Tamburello, Villeneuve, Tulsa, Acqua Minerale and Variante Bassa, and also Ravazza as well. Should be a really good night's worth of action, and hopefully you're going to be with us again in 2 weeks' time for that. As Storm has already alluded to, thank you so much for watching the stream. First of all, if you're brand new to the stream, you can of course, follow, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're new as well. And I believe we're either not on 100 subscribers or we are on 100 subscribers. I haven't looked at Twitch, but it is going to be a really good thing. Obviously, if we get 100 followers, we are obviously going to be going right to the top, I think, in terms of Twitch streams here for TTML F2 and indeed for F1 as we move through the season. Big thank you to Storm, by the way. Hopefully your voice didn't take too much of it tonight. Mine certainly did, I think, in terms of that. But
I think I'm just recovering.
we're both recovering, I think. We need to both recover, I think, after that race.
We need that break, yeah. Hopefully the chocolate Easter eggs will help.
Oh, honestly, I'll be fat as a pancake, I think, after I finish with my cream eggs and everything after the Easter break. But there we go. Have to wait and see what happens, of course, in Imola in 2 weeks' time. But for myself and from Storm, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.